Hello and welcome to another day with Ariel Brown. I guess we can call this a sit down with Ariel Brown. Um, I was reading the news and, looking over some news articles today, and, after looking at a lot of the stuff going on today, especially in politics, I was compelled to talk about um, the manipulation of the voting rights, and this is something that's been going on forever, since the time of voting, back for us African Americans and people of color, we were just allowed to start voting like in without, less complications in 65. But that wasn't for all the states in the Union, though. The southern states, to this day, are still trying to inject or re-inject Jim Crow standards. I was looking at how, the desperation of, Donald Trump, one of the biggest losers on the planet, how in desperation to win the presidency again, to steal the presidency again, they were coming up with all kind of ideas on throwing out votes. Even Lindsey Graham, these are people that's been voted into offices, where they put their hand on a book or whatever, and it's like the whole Republican Party has become the party of deplorables. A bunch of scared, lying, racist bigots that because the country is transforming into the true meaning of a melting pot of color, of different backgrounds, of different races, different shades, beautiful shades. That these people in the Republican Party are, without any shame, trying to, and have been, manipulating the voting rights. I was looking at today in Georgia recently, they put forth a bill which would cut back on some of the humanitarian rights, for people wanting to vote against the poor people, of course, and that includes black, white, Latino, Asian, Native American, anyone, that is for equality, and it's like, it's sad and it's scary that, and it's only scary not, because of what they're doing, but even more, I would say, because how relaxed a lot of people of color, the people of the POC community, I call it, the people, of different backgrounds, races, and shades, are so, still today relaxed when it comes to putting forth a real fight for our rights. It's like, it's like, unless you really out to just take everything from us, we'll go for most of it. We won't say much until it's just unbearable. And that's a big problem for us because we're barely surviving, a lot of us. And we need to look and believe that we are worthy of much more than what we are getting from, the powers that have been, for the last 400 years. And but we're not. It's like we really need to utilize this voting, and I bring up voting a lot of times because I've worked, I put footprints all over the city that I live in, and on all four quadrants of the city. And just to get people to come out, just to explain to them, especially the ones like in New York State where I'm from, that once a person has when you go to prison, you got a felony, yeah, your voting rights are taken away from you. But once you have, and this is written in the book of legislation, for the state, that once a person has either been pardoned by the president or they are released from jail and are no longer on parole or probation, that their right to vote is reestablished. And a lot of people don't know this because they have been, they haven't asked the right questions, some of us, and then some of us just go by whatever we hear from other people. But it was a part of my job as being a community advocate to go and find out certain information that kept, the poor people and people disadvantaged and stuff and discriminated against, to help them to see beyond what they've been told by others. At least, yeah, they still listening to me, you know what I'm saying? But I'm at least trying to bring them the truth, the facts, and so in our communities, a lot of the young people, almost look at it as a badge of honor, like, well, I've done some time, I got a felony, so, I can't vote, but they, first, they're absent of the knowledge, what I just spoke on. And second, it's almost like an excuse not to go and, put in your bid for the win, to be on the winning team, So, and a lot of times I've spoken with young people and they sometimes get upset, because when you explode the myth that they've held on to, and without question, just 100% just bought into and believed in, sometimes it's kind of hard for them to see reality, especially when it's in their favor and they realize that they've been doing themselves an injustice because they haven't taken the time to look into it themselves. Very few of us take the initiative to do our own research, and look for the resources that will give us the right information. If not for myself, but at least for my children and for others in the community, you know what I mean? And that's something that we all have a responsibility to do, But back to this Republican Party, man, it's the party of the deplorables, and sadly, it's like they're for the rights. I mean, their beliefs have become stringent upon. I should say they have put all the chips in for white supremacy. And, we see it on TV, we hear about it in the news, and I think that a lot of us feel like there's not much that we can do, but there is. We can address some of this stuff, going to the state capitals. There's a lot of people that if you just tell them what to do, if you tell them, look, and organize like we do, in our city, it's like they take bus rides. Sometimes hundreds of people get on the bus and they go to the state capitol. And they go to the legislators and let them know what they want. And they let them know that just like we voted you in here, next go round, you can be voted up out of here. Especially if there's someone else that is willing to do and stick to the promises that they made to us when they were, vying for our votes, And we have to not just say that, we have to commit to it. We have to commit to spanking that ass when they're not doing exactly what we asked them to do. We have to commit to the requests that we make for ourselves, our families, our loved ones, for our communities, from the lowest, I should say, to the highest positions, or people and everybody should be no high and low. Everybody should be on one plane, regardless of your titles. That's another illusion that I don't really buy into. Because I was always that child that, hey, growing up, if you was a respectable person, I gave you respect. But if you just had the title of pastor, or because those were the bigger ones, the people in the black community who had utmost respect, pastors and preachers and stuff. If I seen you do something, or I knew you was doing something, or I didn't give you that respect of someone who was doing right and living right. It's kind of like I give everyone a blank sheet of paper, but when I see and that you're putting your own spots on that paper, well, you don't deserve that respect, that your title calls for, But and that's the same thing when it comes to politicians and stuff like that. There, we have to speak up more and be more active in going and letting these legislators know that we're not just giving you our vote and turning away. We're giving you our vote with an expectation, and we're watching you, and we are going to keep an eye on you. And we need to have organize ourselves where that we have panels of people that do just that. Report to the community. How is this person doing in that position we put them in? It used to be a time when people used to do that, but not in the black community. In the black community, we hear some things, and if we happy with what you're talking about, we go for it. And if the majority of us say that you are right, then we go for it. And then and like I do believe that for some of us that's not politically savvy or whatever, that's okay. As long as you get with somebody who you do trust their thinking and their way of looking out for the community. And if you find someone who says, well, this certain person here seems to have this in order and they want to do this, well, I'll go with them then. You know what I'm saying? But at least look into it. But this later part of the characters that's with the Republican Party. I'm not saying the Democrats are all that. You know what I'm saying? No. But at least they at least put forth some humanitarian efforts to try to help the poor. We're never going to get everything that we want, but at least they try. They try fairness sometimes. It's not going to make it. It's not to everybody's description of what is fair or what is right and what is good for the people. Some people want more than, they're blinded by, their own needs and don't think across the board that everybody got needs. So they want a certain part that's just going to, take care, appease their needs. So you find those kind of people. But however, we want we want to vote for the ones that care for everyone, right? But when it comes to these politicians in the Republican Party, right? They are the takers. They only give to the rich. If they give us anything, like with these stimulus packages that went by, they were pissed off at Joe Biden on this last one because he did more for the poor and the issues that we have in the poor communities across the board, different backgrounds and everything. He did more for us than they did with Trump in there, because their first two stimulus checks, one for 12 and one was for 6. Primarily, those trillions went to the upper class. They bailed out already billionaires, you know, already multi-millionaires. And, that's Trump's way of doing things. He's looking out for himself first and his homies, and probably getting broke off in the back room when he does them favors and stuff, getting banked up. You know what I mean? But my thing is this right here. It's like with their agenda, it's like they're for the rights of white supremacists, and to hell with the poor community, with the people of color or whatever. Their ideal is to treat all other people that don't look like quote unquote so-called white male, anyone that doesn't fit that description is down the line somewhere. I mean, and even right today, I mean, I believe a woman has a right to her own body. I would say, like, when it comes to abortion, they feel as though that a woman is committing a god awful sin to God because she wants to abort a baby. I do know that there's limits within there, but it should never be just no. There are reasons why some people may need to have an abortion or whatever, and the Republican Party, that is, feels as though that this woman is doing something that just God is just going to stop everything in the universe and just going to come down hard on America because that's something that we go for. This is a part of control. This is nothing less than the male ego, the white male ego, to control some things. When it comes to a woman's body. I mean, I always thought it was really crazy when I was growing up that women, to me, a woman's body is just like a whole nother universe. It's beautiful as it is and complex as it is, and she has needs, and I always thought it was kind of crazy. Why is it that men are the primary physicians taking care of women when it should have been women from the very beginning of science should have been able to study their own bodies as well as all science, and should have been at the forefront of GYN studies, what I'm saying, OBGYN type studies, and now today, even with all of the strides that have come ahead, you still have a Republican Party that wants to strike down a woman for doing what she feels she needs. I feel like, and I'm going to say this here just quickly and move on from this particular topic of abortions or whatever, that if a woman and a man come together and a baby is created, I would say that the woman should at least, the one thing that I would say is that her and that male should at least be able to agree on whether to abort or not. And if the woman feels she wants to abort and the male says he doesn't, then that male should be able to fully take care of that child throughout his entire life. And if that woman wants to have that child and that man says he doesn't want to have that child, that's a hard one though. But anyway, that woman should be prepared to take on that child and fully take care of that child for the rest of her life, for that his or her, the baby's life. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, dear, it shouldn't be much said about that topic. If a woman is out and she's doing her thing, she's dating and she's all over the place, and let's just say, when we're young, we're dumb, a lot of time, and she gets pregnant by someone and don't know who the father really is, and there's no one else that knows who that baby belongs to, don't have an idea, and she wants to abort or whatever. I'm not saying like doing this here constantly over and over again, but once, maybe twice. After that, then we gotta have a discussion, because you around here slaying life forms and stuff that like it's wreck. You understand? Like you having recreation or something. Now you getting out of hand, it's sloppy. But outside of that, there, that it's not a topic for. I don't think any man has the right. I look over the years what the Republican Party has stood for, which is standing in the way of things, education. They always talk about Lincoln, you know what I'm saying? Well, we're the ones who freed the slaves and all that crap, you understand? I look at whatever happened back then, it was, God ordained that to happen. Certain people was put in place to make the right moves, and that goes on today as well. When it's time, when an ideal's time has come, has evolved to the moment, there's nothing that can stop it. There's no force in this universe that can stop it. As a matter of fact, the universe is right behind it, pressing it forward. But when I think about the how the Republican Party has stood and blocked so much, or tried to at least block so much when it comes to education. Their ideal of a perfect America is to make public schools something like like a farm for hood children. Whereas they're not going to be much in their minds. So why spend money for city schools? Because they're a bunch of animals anyway, which is dead wrong. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our brightest stars and scientists and great minds have come from city school, teaching and stuff like that there. When it comes to the justice system, their ideal of justice is rack 'em and stack 'em, in the prisons, especially for black and brown people, horrible. These are the things, these are the behaviors of not of a leader, because I look at leaders as being, slash a patriarch of a society as well, and the Republican Party show no type of fatherly love towards his people or leadership towards black and brown people in this country. So I don't have much love for them. There was a time, though, I must say, that I still do in some ways, but I'm gonna say this here, that I wanted to see more black people joining the ranks of Republicans to because sometimes you gotta, if you really want to create some change, you got to get in the mix where all that craziness is at, and hopefully your voice will be heard and you can make some changes. But the problem is, from what I have seen over the years, especially over the since the Bush administration, and I know it's been happening before that there, but it's like people of color don't survive in the Republican Party. That lets you know right there, it's a bunch of hood, wearing Klans members all up in that place, all up in that party. There was recently one young man, and his name slips my mind, and the brother quit. I mean, well, he didn't quit, but he said he wasn't going for re-election. And on the minds of everyone, just like my own, you think to yourself, damn. I mean, he must have went through a lot to try to get there. and he only went one term. What would make a person turn around? White supremacy. Yeah, you know. So I give up on that idea of us getting over there in the Republican Party. At this point, after Trump have, completely contaminated that party, their mind, and whatever spirit they have over there, the darkness that he's left behind, that's a party that probably really needs to be totally just dismantled, and a new one. They always talk about a new party. The Democrat Party, yeah, there's a lot of changes that needs to happen with the Democratic Party, But one thing for sure, compared to the Republican Party, it's just about like light and dark, and dark is over there with the deplorables, because all they think about is ways to lie, steal, cheat, voting, and just an insatiable thirst for power. Not power to do good, but power to just disrupt whatever goodness that's in this country, and I believe even around the world. You know what I mean? It's a whole lot of them that love going to war and stuff like that there. I was surprised that Trump didn't try something, but he already knew he wasn't presidential material. And being a wartime president, I've heard him say it. His thing about, I guess his definition of being a wartime president was him battling with people, just regular people or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not no real diplomacy on a global stage and stuff. Him smooching up with other dictators and stuff like that there. You know what I'm saying? Holding hands and trying to be a part of the dictatorship club or whatever. I mean, this guy really, really, he did get in there on a fluke because of a lot of us didn't vote. We didn't take him serious. A lot of people of color let that slip right on by, because we going for the okie doke. You know what I'm saying? They rope-a-doped us on that one there. They got in there. And Putin, if we was voting and voting strong, he wouldn't have got up in there. Voting is a lot more powerful than what people want to say. They try to downplay it and make it like it's really weak and they're going to do what they want to do. If voting was something that didn't really matter, white people, I'm talking about these white racist people, they would not spend no time trying to block us. Right now, they're talking about even, they've made changes. They just passed a law. Whereas, you could be standing in line for 2 or 3 hours just to put your vote in, just to try to participate, in the democratic, voting process or whatever. And you're hungry or you're thirsty or something, and your family member wants to bring you some water. You can't bring your parent or your loved ones water or food. I don't know how they're going to handle that. I mean, how they going to execute that. You get kicked out of line or something, or you get turned away where you can't vote. Something like, or they just stop your people. No, you can't get in line or they'll be arrested. This is petty, first of all. It's petty, it's evil, and it's just another indication of white supremacy. Fearful. I mean, how could you call yourself a white supremacist? You know what I'm saying? It's just like calling yourself an insecure security officer. You know what I'm saying? You're the opposite of what you call yourself. You're a scared bully and liar and all that other stuff. And you're desperate. It's like, instead of just let the chips fall where they may, they would rather stand in the way of the natural process. They're taking away the voting sites uh, where they're making them so far away from the city, or maybe one in the whole in some of these big cities, or one, or they putting one amongst 2 or 3 towns and stuff. It ain't that hard, man. It ain't that hard to just put a voting booth on every other block. You understand? It's not that hard. But they trying to make it sound like it is. I like how Biden, Trump put the fella up there in the United States Postal Service, made him the head of it, and he tried to act like he wasn't down with the move. I think what it really was is the light got flashed on him before he could really do as much damage as he wanted to. So he had to backtrack and try to make it look like it was legit or whatever, But if that light wouldn't have been shined on him, I believe he would have did a lot of damage, a lot more damage than what was done in this last election, which Biden came out the victor. I don't want to take up much more time. I do want to say that we are in a time right now that white racists do not care that you see them as devils. They're everything that they do, their behavior, their mindset, and the spirit that they carry inside of them is all dark, and they don't give a damn if you see it. They don't even give a damn if you cry about it. They don't care. They're not trying to be our friends. They're not trying to be admirable. They're not trying to be honorable. They're on a mission. Steal every inch of power so that they can manipulate their agenda, which is to keep the poor and keep themselves in a place of comfort, not just here in America, but around this whole globe. These are the last, I would say, few miles of the New World Order. And that's why I've mentioned before in one of my other videos that we're at a threshold. And whenever you come to a threshold, there is two forces coming head to head on each side of that line. And one wants and they both want their individual space. And when that change is about to happen, that is when it becomes violent. And violence it happens on so many levels, so many dimensions, so many aspects, so many different tools to be used in that type of a war, or that violence or whatever. And so we, in order to be winners in this here battle, we have to unapologetically press forward, go to battle. We got to be we have to stop being the one that gets punched in the face and then respond to it. We got to be the one that sneak them in the face. Come at them from all different directions. You know what I'm saying? Hitting them with some double hooks and some uppercuts. You know what I'm saying? So that they understand that this thing is real. And I mean, the stuff that they're doing right now is some little adolescent type stuff, taking away the food and water from. This is little stuff. This is stuff that we're not even fighting for, though. We're not even voicing for this little stuff here, man. We need to be going into this place here, man, with every kind of doggone combat, tool at hand, using our voices, using our votes. Marching or doing whatever, going right there to their offices, knocking on some doors, and especially with the ones in the Democratic Party, letting them know you will not play that game over there, because after too long, once they see how easy it was for them to do what they did, and just do what the Republican Party, all the Republicans, the people that's their constituents, not all of them are as bad as their leaders. You know what I mean? There's a lot of their people that do have some compassion, some moral values, some humanitarian, I should say, values that they want to see other people do well. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not better than them, but do well. However, the Republican Party is if you ain't on their page, and if you ain't as dark as they is on their agenda amongst each other, the leaders and stuff like that there for power in this country here, you might be their constituents, but to hell with your ideas. You understand? They going for the whole enchilada, and that's by any means necessary. And if we ain't on that same page, going at this thing like we really want it, start being more offense on the offense instead of always on the defense. If we ain't trying to initiate more plans, more actions towards our agenda, and smashing their agenda right in their face, we're going to lose every time. These people are not courteous no more. These people are not like gentlemen no more. There ain't no more gentlemen over in there, or gentle ladies over in the Republican Party. Yeah, the women over there, they just as raunchy and just as, slimy and grimy as the men over there. I'm talking about in leadership. There's one though that I do. What's her name? Cheney. She was one that spoke up. I said, now she got some balloons. She spoke up against Trump when that whole insurrection thing happened. I give that lady her props. I don't share with her rest of her ideas, but I will say I never heard none of them men over there. The men got skirts. They are so afraid of Big Pimpin' Trump. You know what I'm saying? Trump probably got so much information on all of them. You see how they manipulate each other. I'm talking about these so-called elites. With the parties and the girls and the Jeffrey whatever is the Epsteins and all the stuff that goes on in these parties and stuff like that, while all these pictures are being snapped and tapes and recordings and all kind of stuff. I'm gonna tell you like this here. It's just my thought. Trump was not smarter than those 17 other Republicans on that stage. He wasn't. He was a big bully, but in brain, he was not smarter than them. I see how all of them began to quiet down, once he started talking about them, throwing hints out there about them. The next thing you know, a whole lot of people started backing down. Now, and some of them not even just stopped at backing down. They started agreeing with them. They started acting like puppy dogs to him. I look at Lindsey Graham. I mean, he really wears a skirt. He said that the man is out of his mind. He's deranged. He ain't fit to be president. You know what I'm saying? And now he like his girlfriend. He just like Trump's little girlfriend. One of the shiny shoes and do whatever he need to do. Even when Trump is gone, he making sure his man is all right, that he looking good. You understand? That he giving the best impression of him. It's a bunch of them like that over there, man. I'm going to tell you, though, another woman that I respect too, Nancy Pelosi. She's a straight. That woman got balloons. Her, and I like Chuck Schumer too. That brother, he got some balls. Some balloons as well. Forgive me, But I'll say this here, man. Nancy Pelosi, straight up gangster. Love it. It was just like with that picture of her sitting across the table from Trump. That was some gangster. It was just like she reached across the table and straight slapped him right in the face. He sat there just like a little boy. Then they try to do the optics on it like she was just a out of control woman. No, that was a woman that just smacked the shit out of the president. This deplorable. You understand, Captain Deplorable, and then stood up and told him to his face what and read him his rights right there, right in his face amongst all his boys. Sat back down and kept him in check. the whole time without even breaking a sweat. I love that woman. You know what I'm saying? Just for that there, just for what she did. You know what I'm saying? And throughout this time that she's been there, we got to have more people like that. But you know what? It don't take a person who's been voted into a position to do that. Each and every one of us can do that. I always ask the Lord, if I had the opportunity, I definitely tell him how I feel. I love, like I said before, I don't know if it was early on this one or early on one of the other videos. I'm the type of person, look, your title don't mean nothing to me. I don't give a damn if you the Pope, the Cardinal, the President, whoever. If you ain't living right, you get no respect from me. You understand? Not what that position calls for. I am civil, but I'll tell you like this right here. I'll tell you where it's at. I'll tell you like a TI is, for real. Because your position, your title, does not give you no pass on your responsibility to the people that you're supposed to look out for and that you're supposed to represent. All right. Anyway, I don't want to take up no more time. As always, I want to just say, peace, love, and respect to all that's looking, that's watching this video or whatever. And I hope that you, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Okay? This is a sit down with R.L. Brown. Peace.